newest episode of Nurture the Mind. It's been a while since I've done a podcast, and I apologize. No real excuses. I just feel like with having a full-time job, it is a little bit harder to find the time to record a podcast and then figure out what you want to talk about that would be deserving to go on a podcast. But I do have something that I want to talk about today. And the reason that I'm going to talk about it is so you guys know that I did 75 hard. At some point, I did like an update while I was on 75 hard. I was like 50 some days in. And then I did that podcast with my client, Heather Sage, after she completed 75 hard. So I've done a lot of content. I've had a lot of conversations around that subject. Well, I wanted to talk about the Live Hard program, which is an extension of 75 hard. And I actually just completed the Live Hard program, which was, my last day was October 31st. So that was like a week, 2 weeks ago-ish, somewhere in there. I just want to talk about my experience. So, the Live Hard program itself takes about a year. Well, it takes a year. You do 75 hard first. And then after that, if you're serious about it, if you feel like you want to level up, you go into the Live Hard program. And there is 3 different phases that you have in Live Hard. Each of them being 30 days long as opposed to 75 days for 75 hard. Each phase is a little bit different. They have different requirements. After you finish phase 1, you have to wait 30 days before you can start phase 2. And then once you finish phase 2, you can't start phase 3 until 30 days before you started 75 hard the last year. So since I started 75 hard on November 1st of 2021, I had to start phase 3 of Live Hard on October 2nd of this year. And it's just kind of crazy to reflect and to think back it's been a year, since I started 75 hard. And then making all this progress and this momentum to carry me through Live Hard and get through each and every phase. And I feel like there's a lot that's changed. And it's not a lot that I think about until the program's over to really sit back and reflect on all that's changed. For one, I think my discipline is the best that it's ever been. Again, I haven't been very disciplined with the podcast, but that's been kind of taking a back seat because of my full-time job. I've been there for 7 going on 8 months, so I needed to get comfortable in that. I needed more experience. I needed to make mistakes. I needed to get my routine down so that then later on I could come back and start doing podcast again. And anytime I have an idea for a video or a podcast, like with the whole Heather Sage thing, I try and capitalize on it in the moment, when it's there. She finished 75 hard in August, halfway through August, and then we got that podcast done in September. So it's not like I'm completely void of doing these things, but yes, the podcast, the YouTube channel, haven't been disciplined there. It's just that had to get pushed back. But I'm disciplined in my job. I'm disciplined in my duties and what I get done with my job. Any other thing that I put on my power list, I make sure that I do that. Disciplined with the walks for 45 minutes every single day. Doing my lifts. I am the most muscular that I've ever been. I'm up to 207 pounds, which the highest that I ever got to back in 2017 or something like that. I was 212, but it definitely wasn't necessarily a healthy weight. I wasn't fat. I was a little pudgy in some areas. But now that I'm 207, I'm approaching my highest weight ever, but it's muscle. I mean, I'm completely dedicated, completely switched up my routine with the Live Hard program, and then coming to Anytime Fitness and being in the fitness world, the fitness environment every single day when I go to work. You know, it's inspiring. It kind of gives you, you know, the ammunition that you need to have even more incentive to go work out. And my body has responded to that. Been very disciplined with that, with my diet, with water, mental health purposes, giving myself good things to consume. And another thing that's really grown throughout this year, and I don't know if this would come from Live Hard, I don't know if it would come from 75 Hard, but in terms of mental health, I've really become a lot more independent there. I've become a lot more resilient, a lot more self-reliant. In years prior, I would reach out a lot to my mother. I would reach out a lot to my therapist. And I think it's very important that people reach out. I'm not saying don't reach out. I'm just saying that there's a lot that you can learn too from relying on yourself. And I would say it's even more important to do that. Maybe in the beginning you need to rely on people a lot more. But becoming self-reliant is a huge tool, a huge skill that you can add to your life, because it's going to help you get through anything. And yeah, really since getting the job at Anytime Fitness, I've had to learn this year to do a lot more things on my own. And I think that was extremely beneficial to me. I learned that no matter what I'm going through, whether it be some type of emotional shitstorm that's knocking on my brain for, 5, 6, 7 days at a time, or earlier this year, I would have like weeks or maybe even a month of some issues. And as much as it sucks in the moment, giving yourself that space to breathe and knowing that storm is going to pass. And again, like it's helpful to reach out to people. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying I had to grow in that area where like I had always reached out to people, and I think it was making me a little bit more incapable in my own mind to handle things. So it was best for me to go about my business and pull myself out of the fucking dirt every time I found myself falling in the dirt. So that's one of the biggest things that's changed this year for me. And again, I don't know if that comes with 75 Hard and Live Hard. I definitely think it does, because that program too, and it's very much highlighted by Andy Frisella, that the cool thing about this program, one of the many cool things about this program is, despite how you're feeling, every single day you move forward, if you're accomplishing your task, you're accomplishing what's on your power list, you're taking care of your health in every direction, in every area of your life. So even if you feel like shit, even if you're having some type of mental health crisis or whatever it may be, maybe not even that it's a crisis, but just the natural things that ping our mental health that everybody goes through, you're just teaching yourself to rely on yourself a lot more, and it's such a helpful skill. Really, it's the best skill that I think you could develop in this life. Because really all you do have is yourself. Yes, you do have other people. But at some point, your parents, they're going to pass on, given the fact that they're older than you. Having a therapist that you trust is really good, but your therapist can't always be on deck, can't always be on hand for you to just call or text. They have lives too, and they can't take their clients' problems home with them. So every once in a while, they got to detach as well. It's good to have friends that you can talk to about that stuff, but your friends as well probably have their own shit going on that they're dealing with, and they're not obligated to, even if they're a really good friend, they're not obligated to sit there and listen to you and what you're going through. I'm sure they will if they're a good friend, but I'm just saying that everybody else in the world has things going on that take top priority. They are not your lifeline. They are not 911. It's amazing if you have that option for those people, but you have to teach yourself how to become self-reliant, independent, capable of handling adversity and getting over those hurdles and those setbacks. Because another theme this year, along with all this, something that I've learned is everybody goes through that at various points in their lives, and probably a lot more often than you think. I think there are a lot of people that are out there struggling right now in various different ways. Maybe not even necessarily mentally, but with the structure of the economy right now, with all the issues that we fight about in society, the disconnect, the isolation. I can't tell you how many people my age, me being 25, can't tell you how many people my age have this common experience, this common voice of frustration about how they feel lonely, they can't find people to connect with. Well, you know, we've kind of done it to ourselves with these damn phones. They separate us. There's an interesting study that was done. I don't know who it's by. I'm going to have to go look at it and link it below. But it was essentially saying that apes, monkeys, when they are isolated by themselves, so away from their tribe or their pack or whatever you would call a gang of apes, when they're isolated from that tribe, from their family, they will masturbate. I know it's a very weird subject, and you're probably asking yourself, Cole, why are you even bringing this up right now? I bring this up because as a man, you know, trying to get away from porn, and I have pretty much succeeded with that. Because I'm not in a relationship and I get horny like any other human being out there, you go to self-pleasure, you go to masturbation, and shouldn't be a frowned upon topic because a lot of guys do it, especially guys my age, and I'm sure there are a lot of women out there that do it. So when you're isolated, when you're alone, these monkeys, that's what they would do. If they were socialized, if they were integrated, if they were out there in the pool, they would go find a mate. So this is a very interesting point for man or woman. I think it was mainly, the study was done on male chimps. I don't know if it was female chimps, but look at what's going on. I can attribute to this as well. Like I said, as a 25-year-old man, we're isolated. We're sad, we're depressed, we're anxious, we're not around people, we're not making these meaningful connections that we so desperately desire. So for guys or for girls, get isolated, they pleasure themselves under their own means. And maybe some of that is healthy. I'm sure that we all need a release every once in a while. But what I'm saying is like these, mainly a lot of people my age, feeling frustrated with not being able to find a mate. Well, we're isolated, and so this is what we go to, but it's a short-term pleasure. It's only taking care of yourself for the moment. It doesn't help you in the medium term to the long term. So what do we got to do? Well, we got to get out there, we got to socialize, we got to challenge ourselves, we got to make ourselves uncomfortable. We've built up this routine where, and I'm speaking to myself as much as I could be speaking to the crowd. I deal with so many people throughout my work week through training clients, interacting with members. I'm exhausted. The social battery is depleted. On the weekend, I tend to go inward, introspective, being an introvert that I am, and I don't want to talk to people. Well, that's not helping my dating life. That's not helping my confidence. That's not helping me get out of my comfort zone, per se. And so we got to be diligent about that. And I don't even know how I got here. I'm going on a completely freaking wild rant from where I started. Maybe I'll find my way back. Maybe I just needed to have a rant like this. Hopefully it all makes sense. You guys that are listening to it, you can go back and rewind and be like, how the fuck did this guy get here? Well, I was talking about 75 hard and being self-reliant, and I honestly don't know how I got here. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me that you have to listen to this. No, I wanted to talk about my results, the things that I've noticed, the things that have changed, becoming self-reliant. That's something that I had to do. That's something I had to go through this year. And it makes me interested for the future. So people have asked me, you did 75 hard, you did the Live Hard program, what's next? Well, we got a challenge at work right now. And it's between the three of us, me, Danny, and Kim. Danny is another trainer, Kim is our manager. And we are trying to compete for who can get the most muscle mass gained from, we started somewhere in August because that's when Kim joined the team. And then we're going to do another scan, another body scan January 1st. And that'll kind of show us like who put on the most muscle in that time. So I'm going to hanker down for that, get really specific and narrowly focused with my lifts. Outside of that, you know, will I go through 75 hard and Live Hard again? I don't know. I mean, when you go through that program, if you're doing it the right way, it really changes you. It changes who you are. And so I feel like I kind of embody the Live Hard lifestyle, even if I'm not on the program. I mean, I haven't been reading my book anymore. I haven't taken cold showers for the last few weeks, but like I'm still going out doing my walks, lifting, drinking water, making sure my diet is clean. And I'm sure I'll get back into those things of reading and taking the cold showers and whatnot. It's just nice to give yourself a break every once in a while. But I don't know if I necessarily need to be on the program. I think it really, the program really did its justice for me. It changed me as a person. It's made me a lot more focused. It's made me a lot more driven. It's made me a lot more disciplined. And, you know, once you get into it, once you get into that lifestyle and you change as a result, you really don't want to go back. So I guess maybe now that it's over and I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot in this last year, maybe one area where I start to tweak my vision is to be even more centered and more focused with my clients. I had Heather Sage. I convinced her to do 75 hard, and now I have another client, Crystal. I convinced her to do 75 hard. She's in the midst of that journey right now, so maybe we'll do a podcast eventually once she finishes. But I really just want to be a leader. I want to be a leader for my clients. Being a personal trainer has been a very interesting experience so far for these last 7 or 8 months, you know, because you're dealing with people's health. You're helping these people get healthier in all sorts of fashions and ways. It's not, I've told so many people, it's not just about your physical health. I mean, it is, and that is very, very important that we take care of that. But you become a therapist in these sessions. You're there for their emotional support. Maybe you connect with them spiritually. You talk about spiritual things, and definitely mental health. I think all of it gets cleared up. I pride myself on being a deep thinker, a compassionate person that just wants to help. So I think that even though I didn't have any background in personal training before this, I think I bring a wide variety of skills and experiences, and my personality in general. I feel like that's all, I have a lot of advantages to who I am to really help these people on many different fronts. I've had many clients tell me that, you know, yeah, it's nice to work out and everything, but it's even cooler. There's another depth to that where that you get in training, where a good trainer, for one, is going to listen to that person and let them explain themselves, but just provide like a very fun-loving nature and environment to the experience. And then those people, they forget that they're even working out. And that's what's cool. It's kind of like hypnosis in a way, is you can get, again, very common experience and theme that I've had in training, where I get somebody to talk for a majority of the session and they're like, it's already over? Like 45 minutes just went away? I forgot that I was working out. It's like, yeah, that's the beauty. I don't know. Maybe I have a knack for it. I definitely think that it was out of my hands when I came here. I feel like it was an act of God. I don't know if I've told that story on the podcast. I'm sure I have. Actually, I think Heather and I explored that on the podcast that we did. Yeah, I just want to help people. I mean, I'm 25. I'm going to be 26 in March. I remember it crisply, clear as day, March of this year when I turned 25, and it feels like it wasn't that long ago. Another thing that's changed, I don't know if this is with 75 Hard, but this year specifically, I have had such a shift in my perception of time. Time seems to blend together a lot more as you get older, and especially this has been my first year in the workforce full time away from college as I graduated last summer, and all these months have really blended together, and it's a weird sensation. It's a weird transformation to go through because you look back at like half a year, 7 months when I first came to Anytime Fitness, and it's already gone. It's already gone in the blink of an eye. And again, I can recall starting there like it was freaking yesterday. There's still many moments where I have the same emotions that I did when I first started, and I was fearful because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was afraid that I was looking like a fool and I was an imposter, and nobody was going to believe me and my ability to help them train and do the lifts effectively, even though I've been training ever since I was a freshman in high school. And it's just a weird sensation to go through, to see time pass by so quick, but you're not really aware of it as it's happening. And I've had a lot of people, back me up on this, that they've had that same experience at some point in their life too. Like if you're not careful, you look back and life has just kind of slipped by. That's why it's very important to, just make sure that you're being very present and with every moment, and also having some type of intention for what you're doing for your job. Like how do you want to be better as a leader? How are you going to lead these people? What does that look like? What does that feel like? We need adjustments like that in people in our society right now. Maybe that's where I got off tangent, because I was saying things about what's going on in society, the economic problem, people being isolated and lonely. That's where the transition happened. So we need people out there that are leading by example, providing a solution, providing a value to other people, providing a service. It's not all about money. It's not all about monetary gain. It's important. One of my biggest goals too is to become financially independent, so I wouldn't ever have to depend on the government. I definitely, like, as a personal trainer, it's a big goal of mine to get better, to sell more clients, to bring them on board. But again, it's not just for the aspect of money. It's because I want to get better, and it's because I want to help people, and I want to help people in all fashions. I've learned over these last few years, being at COC, my prior job, helping supported people that have intellectual disabilities, and then with the podcast and the YouTube channel, that's a way to reach out to people. And then coming to Anytime Fitness, being a personal trainer, like those three facets right there, which have taken up a majority of my time for the last 2 or 3 years, have all been centered around helping people, providing information, just giving positive feedback, encouraging people. There's nothing like it. People only really need a small amount of encouragement to go far in life. And honestly, they don't usually receive it from their friends, from their family members, from peers, wherever you could get that sense of validation from. Jordan Peterson talks about it. He says that, seriously, all people need is such a small trace amount of encouragement, and it will go a long way. So give more people encouragement. That's what I try and do. And I'm a big believer in karma, and that those things will come around in due time. You kind of have to pay your dues, especially when you're young. You're still learning, putting yourself in the workforce, make some of those sacrifices for a better future. It's worth it. Anyways, I don't really know where else to go with this. I was going to talk about 75 hard, live hard, and I did. Talked about some of my lessons. I kind of went on a rant, kind of went left field, but that's what I do. I hope it connected with you guys. I hope it made sense. If you liked it, if you gained something from it, please just share the message. Tell somebody, share it on social media, however you consume this. Maybe, screenshot it, send it to a friend. This is still very much a passion of mine. I love doing it. I haven't had the time to do it. I haven't really had the focus to put as much effort into it as I would have liked to. But I know that it's something that I'm going to get back on track with in the future. I would never let something like this just die off. It's probably just going to take me a lot longer to reach my goals than I had originally thought. But yeah, if you liked it, share it. If you got value from it, we can have a conversation, write a comment or something, and I can always respond to you. I'm always happy to help. If any of you guys want me to cover a certain topic, about mental health or personal training, I can give my best spin. Something that's positive, uplifting, or motivating, I'm definitely willing to do that. So give me feedback if you have it, guys. It's the weekend. I'm probably going to try and post this tomorrow because right now it's Saturday the 12th. But we'll see because tomorrow I got to watch the Dolphins play the Browns and hopefully get to 7-3. So anyways, I'm going to cut it off there. If you guys have any questions, send them out to me. And just take care of yourselves. Make sure that you're doing all the necessary things to stay healthy. And again, like I said, if you have any questions, if there's any topics that you want me to cover, just let me know. I love talking about this shit. Super passionate about anything health related in any area. And I know I'm young. I know I'm 25, but I can try and give the best type of advice that I have in my noggin. People tend to tell me a lot that I have an older soul, and I would concur with that. I'm not trying to get my ego involved. I just think that, that's true. I mean, I've just seen it time and time again in my life that things I'm concerned about are usually not what people my age are concerned about. So, anyways, your boy is done rambling. Have a great weekend, guys. I will see you on the next video, the next podcast. Be on the lookout for that. Love you guys. Take care.